If your hair hasn't felt right in years, it's probably not your hair that's the problem. It's one of these 7 mistakes. And I'd bet money you're making at least 3 of them right now, without even realizing it. I've seen women spend hundreds of dollars on products, treatments, salon visits, and still walk out feeling like their hair is working against them instead of for them. Here's the truth nobody tells you. The biggest hair mistakes after 60 have almost nothing to do with your hair type, your gray, or your age. They have to do with habits you probably picked up decades ago and never questioned. So stick with me because by the end of this video you're going to look at your hair completely differently. Hi friends, welcome back to Timeless Style After 60. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found us. This channel is all about looking elegant, polished, and confident at any age, without spending a fortune or chasing trends that were never made for us in the first place. And if you're one of my regulars, welcome back. It's good to have you here again. Today we're diving into something so many of you have asked me about in the comments: why your hair doesn't look the way it used to, and more importantly, what to actually do about it. So let's get right into it, starting with mistake number 1. Mistake 1. Cutting your hair too short too soon. So many women hit 60, or even their late 50s, and immediately think it's time for the short cropped cut. And look, if that's genuinely what you love, I'm not here to talk you out of it. But so often, this decision isn't made from a place of love. It's made from fear. Fear that long hair looks like you're trying too hard or clinging to youth. Somewhere along the way, we absorbed this idea that there's an expiration date on longer hair. And honestly, I think it's one of the most damaging beauty myths out there. Here's what I want you to understand. Length itself is not the enemy. The wrong length for your face, your hair texture, and your lifestyle is the enemy. A cut that's too severe can actually age you by drawing attention to the neck and jawline in ways that aren't flattering, especially if there's any fullness there that you'd rather soften. On the other hand, hair that's too long and unstyled can drag the face down too. The sweet spot for most women over 60 is a soft, shoulder-grazing length with layers and movement. It frames the face beautifully, it's incredibly versatile, and it often reads as far more youthful than a very short style ever could. My advice? Before you chop it all off in a moment of frustration, try a transitional length first. Talk to your stylist about layers rather than a drastic change. You can always go shorter later if you decide that's truly what you want. But you can't glue it back on once it's gone. And I've had so many women tell me they regretted a sudden shortcut simply because they weren't ready for how differently it made them feel. Mistake 2. Sticking with the same color you've always had. This one surprises people every time I bring it up. As we age, our skin tone changes. It gets a bit more translucent, sometimes cooler, sometimes with different undertones than we had in our 30s and 40s. But so many women keep coloring their hair the exact same shade they've used for 20 or 30 years, simply because it's familiar and it's what they know. What happens is the color starts to look harsh against the skin instead of complementing it. A deep, rich brunette that once looked stunning can start to look severe. A very light, brassy blonde that used to look sun-kissed can start to look washed out. It's not that the color itself is wrong, it's that your canvas has changed, and the color needs to change along with it. The fix here is simple but powerful. Go a shade or two lighter and softer than your natural color used to be. Lighter, softer hair color near the face acts like a natural highlighter. It brightens everything, it softens fine lines, and it looks far more current and alive. If you color at home, ask for a warm or soft version of your usual shade rather than the flattest, most solid color option on the box. If you go to a salon, tell your colorist plainly that you want something that flatters your skin as it looks today, not the color you were emotionally attached to back in 1995. A good colorist will know exactly what you mean, and this one conversation alone can completely transform how your whole face reads. Mistake 3. Overwashing and overdrying your hair. Now here's one of the biggest mistakes I see women make. And it's one that quietly damages hair for years before anyone even notices what's happening. As we age, our scalp produces less natural oil. That's simply biology, it happens to nearly everyone. But so many of us are still washing our hair every single day out of pure habit, the exact same way we did when we were 25 and our scalp was producing oil at double the rate. This constant washing strips away what little natural moisture we have left, leaving hair dry, brittle, and prone to breakage. And then, to make matters worse, we blast it with high heat from a blow dryer or flat iron to fix the frizz that the overwashing caused in the first place. It becomes this frustrating cycle that women often blame on just having bad hair now, when really the habits themselves are the problem. Try washing every 2 to 3 days instead of daily. I promise your hair will adjust, even if the first couple of weeks feel a little greasy while your scalp recalibrates. On the days in between, a light dry shampoo at the roots keeps things fresh without the damage. And when you do wash, turn the water temperature down. Hot water might feel wonderful and relaxing, but it opens the hair cuticle and lets moisture escape right out. Lukewarm water seals things in, keeps your color looking richer for longer, and leaves hair noticeably softer to the touch. Mistake 4. Ignoring your hairline and part. This is one people rarely talk about, but it makes a massive difference in how youthful your hair looks day to day. As we age, our hairline can shift subtly, and hair often thins slightly right at the part where the scalp gets the most daily wear. If you've been parting your hair in the exact same spot for decades without ever adjusting, it can create a wider, more obvious part line over time, one that quietly ages the whole look without you consciously noticing why. A simple fix: try a soft side part instead of a razor-straight center part. It naturally covers thinning areas and softens the face in a way a center part simply can't. You can also change up your part every so often, maybe every few months, just to prevent that permanent worn line from developing where the hair has been trained to fall the same way for years. It sounds like such a small detail, but this tiny adjustment is one of those things that makes people say, "You look so refreshed," without them being able to put their finger on exactly why. Mistake 5. Choosing styles that are too flat. Volume is not vanity, it's structure. Flat hair, no matter your age, tends to read as tired, dull, or lifeless, even on a woman with perfect skin and a beautiful outfit. And unfortunately, a lot of women over 60 unintentionally flatten their hair through years of the same brushing habits, or by skipping volumizing products entirely because they think those are for younger women, or for thick hair only. They're not. Volume products exist precisely because so many of us lose natural body as we age. A little lift at the crown does more to take years off your look than almost anything else on this entire list. You genuinely don't need teased, dramatic 1980s style volume. Just soft lift at the roots is enough to change everything. A volumizing mousse applied to damp hair before you dry it, or simply blow drying your roots in the opposite direction they naturally fall for just a minute or two, can completely transform how alive your hair looks by the end of the day. Even rolling your hair in soft Velcro rollers for 10 minutes while you do your makeup can give you that lift without any heat damage at all. Alright, before I keep going, if this is resonating with you so far, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more women just like you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time because I've got so many more videos like this one coming every single week. Also, I'd love to know down in the comments, which of these mistakes did you not know about until just now? I read every single comment, so don't be shy, tell me honestly. Okay, let's keep going because the next 2 mistakes might be the most important ones on this entire list. Mistake 6. Skipping regular trims. I know you just heard me say don't cut it all short. But hear me out because there's a big difference between a drastic cut and a simple maintenance trim. So many women stretch out the time between trims because they're trying to grow it out faster or save a little money at the salon. Feels logical in the moment. But hair, especially as we age, becomes more prone to split ends and breakage because it's naturally drier and more fragile than it used to be. Once those ends start splitting, they don't just stay at the tip, they travel up the hair shaft and make the entire length look thin, wispy, and scraggly no matter how healthy your scalp is or how good your color looks. Women often assume this means their hair is just getting worse with age, when really, it's simply overdue ends dragging everything else down. A trim every 8 to 10 weeks, even just a light dusting off the ends, keeps hair looking thicker, healthier, and far more polished overall. Think of it like hemming a beautiful dress. You're not shortening the whole garment. You're simply cleaning up the edges so everything hangs and moves beautifully. That small, consistent maintenance is often the missing piece between hair that looks fine and hair that looks genuinely well cared for. Mistake 7. Using the wrong products for aging hair. And here we are, the final mistake, and honestly don't miss this one because it makes the biggest difference of everything I've shared today. So many of us are still using the exact same shampoo, conditioner, and styling products we used in our 30s or 40s, simply because they're familiar and sitting right there in the shower. But hair changes significantly as we age. It often becomes drier, more porous, more fragile, and more prone to frizz, even if it never used to be that way before. Products designed for oily, thick, younger hair, the kind that promise volumizing and clarifying with strong cleansing agents, can actually strip and work against mature hair now. Look instead for products specifically labeled for mature, fine, or color-treated hair. These usually contain more moisture, gentler cleansing agents, and ingredients that support elasticity and shine rather than stripping it away. And here's a tip that changes everything for so many women. Add a lightweight leave-in conditioner or a few drops of hair oil to your routine after washing. Just a small amount smoothed through the ends can transform dry, frizzy hair into something soft, shiny, and manageable again almost instantly. It's such a small step, it takes maybe 15 seconds, but it might genuinely be the single most impactful change you make after watching this video today. So let's recap quickly because I know that was a lot of information. The 7 biggest hair mistakes aging women make are cutting hair too short too soon, sticking with outdated hair color, overwashing and overdrying, ignoring the hairline in part, choosing flat styles without volume, skipping regular trims, and using the wrong products for your current hair type. The beautiful thing about all of this is that every single one of these mistakes is completely fixable, starting today, without spending a fortune on salon visits or expensive treatments. Now I want to hear from you. Out of these 7, which one do you think has been holding your hair back the most? Let me know in the comments. I genuinely read every one. And I love hearing your stories and what's worked for you. If you found this helpful, please give it a like. It truly helps this channel grow and reach more women like you. And subscribe if you haven't already, because every week I share more tips just like this one to help you look and feel your absolute best at every single age. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.